on Zoom, and we're gonna get into this first time going live in a while. So let's get started here. I want to go over some new stuff. A friend of mine sent me a video, and I wanted to go over it. A lot of speculation going on, a lot of Trump hating and all that good stuff. A lot of fear mongering, and just want to take a look at some speculation on the market and all that kind of stuff. There's what they call macro stress and speculation going on. The Great Reset, people take it in different ways, and they throw out different theories, clickbait, different things that get people to come that way. So just want to get my opinion on this. If I can find this, there we go. All right. So videos put out by Andrei, it's Jikh, how you pronounce that? And he's saying, we just call him Andrei. They're using this war to replace the dollar. That's what he says. That's his speculation. That's his take. You might be able to hear it on TikTok. Let's see.
There's a theory that this crisis was planned as a way to bring about.
And that, when you say there's a theory, I can say that's not really what I'm saying. I'm saying, it could be cool. We have theories in science, we have theory in politics, but to me, he's not taking ownership. This is what I believe. This could have happened, but this is a theory out there. Let's go ahead.
A major change to the world and the monetary system. That's because every crisis has always been an opportunity.
Of course it is.
This pandemic has provided an opportunity.
Here we are now with an economy in crisis, but with an incredible opportunity.
It's certainly a major crisis, but it also offers us a unique opportunity.
Unprecedented opportunity to rethink and reset.
The great opportunity for reset.
Opportunity for us to reset.
For a reset.
The president says, in part, quote, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will."
Now, what's interesting is that.
So you see the setup. Trump's war in the Middle East, Strait of Hormuz, is part of it. So he's not taking sides. He's throwing, to me, Trump in with the globalists. And then with that, scuttlebutt that's been going around on the internet about Trump was going to drop the big N, the big A bomb. Had to be careful on TikTok, get banned real quick. So they are saying it without saying it, and it's a lot of speculation, which is fine. But I want to call it what it is, say what it is. If it's your opinion, it's your opinion, and you can own the theory. Don't just throw it out there. Are you gonna own the theory? You gonna man up and take responsibility? He doesn't seem to be doing that. That's my problem with what he's doing. But I like the way he crafted the video. I mean, it's done nice. I think he got over 1 million subscribers, so his channel is doing well. He seems to deal with the financial sector, so I have no problem with any of that. But what I caught, and I haven't watched the whole video, but what I caught in his developing this scenario, he has something to sell. It may become at the end or whatever, but talking back and forth with my friend is basically diversify. I have no problem with diversify. Yeah, when crisis like this, the money drops. You can have so much in the market. You can have so much in stocks and bonds. You can have so much in liquidity. Diversify. If you can, do it. I have no problem with that. The problem is how you selling your story. Um, I don't go with everything in this type of scenario.
There's a theory that this crisis was planned as a way to bring about a major change to the world and
So you got to move forward.
imagine and reset our world. Right? COVID was the crisis, and the opportunity was global coordination of everyone's economies and currencies and centralized government. The point is, there's a pattern throughout history. Every single time there's been a crisis, there was an opportunity
It's always
for central
opportunity.
planners
Yes.
to change how the world works.
I have no
That's how it
problem with them
works,
making
but
those statements.
what I am saying is that when there's a crisis, whether it's real or not, the people that are closest to power, who saw it coming, have always used it as an opportunity to upgrade the system
I have no
in a
problem with
way
that.
that centralized power.
So, yes, each side, politics is like that. World War One, World War Two, there's a crisis to mobilize the people. Um, Sink a ship. We get to go to war. They did this one incident. Oh, it's horrible. It's unimaginable. Just wipe them out. So that sort of thing, I agree. But he is taking the opportunity also. He's not letting this opportunity, as far as I'm concerned, pass him by. He's going to capitalize on it too. That's why I feel.
Now, unfortunately, this system, as convenient and generous as it sounds, is also going to be the most sophisticated financial control grid that will ever be built. And the reason I say that is because it's also already been tested. Tether has already frozen wallets. It's happened dozens of times. It has sanctioned addresses, it's flagged accounts, it's regulatory requests. All it takes is a line of code, and they can turn your money off. Now, you'll still own your money, technically.
I have no problem with that either. Um, During World War II, they limited your ability to own gold. So it's a lot to it. And I agree with him on certain things. Is again, he's taking this opportunity, just like he says the global elite or anyone else is going to take this opportunity. And it's opportunity for him to make money too. And it could be off of you.
Now, unfortunately,
All right. So again, on this video, talk about the agenda. What could be happening, what may be happening, and to look out for those that are coming after you to put you in fear, to get you to move your money around through them, of course, or through whoever sponsored their channel is coming. Some of it might be real and true need to not put all your eggs in one basket. I have no problem with that. Diversify in property, diversify, your 401k, 401k, all that good stuff. I don't have none of that, so I don't have to worry about it. Now let's continue.
here's what I think the next phase of this new monetary system is going to look like. In a nutshell, what I think will happen is the US debt gets privatized and uploaded to the world. Right? Every major corporation will become a bank. Every major app will become a wallet. And every person on earth with a smartphone will become an unknowing creditor to the United States government. They will solve the debt problem and the AI problem at the same time with a digital currency system that funds the government, controls the UBI payments that feeds the people that lost their jobs to AI in the first place, and it gives the central planners a button that they can turn on or off for every single person's financial life. Okay, hold on. That sounds crazy, right? What does that even look like? All right, so imagine Tesla announces a digital wallet. You load it up with dollars. Tesla takes those dollars and invests them into US Treasury bonds, earning, let's say, 4 or 5%. Tesla keeps a little, passes some back to you in the form of rewards, discounts on your next car, maybe charging credits, maybe an actual yield, right? You're happy because your money's working for you. Tesla's happy because they're earning a spread on their deposits, and the US government is happy because someone bought more of their debt. Now multiply that across every major corporation on Earth. You'll get Apple Wallet, Amazon Wallet, McDonald's Wallet, Google Pay with yield, every airline, every retailer, every platform we already use. All of them will become distribution channels for US government debt. All of them holding US treasuries as the backing for whatever digital asset or rewards program they'll offer you.
Now, the mechanism that he described is a possibility. I have no problem with it. I like that. I'm going to look more into it. Because those that follow scripture and are looking for a cashless society, what he's describing is a possibility. For that, I respect him and I respect what he's saying. Again, I'm looking at this in the fullness of it for the first time. So to give credit where credit is due, there is going to be some type of possible rescue of the world through a cashless society. We move into it. Elon Musk, all these great minds are saying you will come a day when you work only if you need to, but what they either fail to see or don't want to see, or is part of it, part of their plan, is to get us all into one system, this cashless society where you can neither buy nor sell without their approval, whoever they are.
Now, the third thing I'm doing is trying to stay informed. Because the most dangerous thing about this whole system is that it's complicated, and it's supposed to be. And most people, I think, will walk into this without understanding that this is happening.
I believe that.
The people who do understand will hopefully make better choices. They'll hold assets outside the grid, and that is why I like to make these videos. I genuinely believe that understanding this stuff, even if it's wrong on the specifics of it, but right directionally speaking,
okay,
that it puts me in a better position.
I'll give him that. He don't have to be perfect, but to see the possibility where we're going down the road.
Here's what I think the next phase now of this
the
new
third
monetary.
All right, continuing on.
Now, SWIFT can cut a whole country off from the global financial system.
Correct.
That's a lot of power. But this new system will be able to target anyone, no matter where they live, even if that country and its laws prohibit this system. It's already too late. It's outside their control. So what are they going to do to fight that? You will start seeing them disable the App Store and turn off the internet.
Okay.
That's how they're going to fight it. And the beautiful, or maybe the terrifying part about this, is that no one forced anyone into this system.
All right.
Now, unfortunately, this system, as convenient and generous as it sounds, is also going to be the most sophisticated financial control grid that will ever be built. And the reason I say that is because it's also already been tested. Tether has already frozen wallets. It's happened dozens of times. It has sanctioned addresses. It's flagged accounts. It's regulatory requests. All it takes is a line of code, and they can turn your money off. Now, you'll still own your money, technically. It just might not work on Tuesdays, or in certain stores to buy certain things, or if you said something the algorithm didn't like, or you didn't get vaccinated, or if you bought too much meat that week, and meat is energy intensive,
yes,
and we need to conserve energy, right? And that's just Tether. It's a relatively small private company, but scale this capability to a system where every major corporation's digital wallet is going to be susceptible to US regulation, backed by US treasuries, governed by US law. And I think you're going to get something that makes the SWIFT banking system look like peanuts. Now, SWIFT can cut a whole country off from the
Yes.
global financial system. That's a lot of power. But this new system will be able to target anyone, no matter where they live, even if that country and its laws prohibit this system.
Gotcha.
It's already too late. It's outside their control. So what are they going to do to fight that? You will start seeing them disable the App Store and turn off the internet. That's how they're going to fight it. And the beautiful, or maybe the terrifying part about this, is that no one forced anyone into this system. We've already all signed up to it. Now, SWIFT can cut.
All right. So, whew, the premise of how we got here or getting there, he kind of threw me off. So I was coming into it very negative. It seemed like, I guess you got to do clickbait this way. I mean, you got to draw people's attention. And I wouldn't have said it the way he said it, but that's neither here nor there. He's not me, I'm not him. Now he says, disruption in the Strait of Hormuz. Uh, why this choke point matters. This is some of my analysis of it. 20% of global petrol transit the strait, making it central to energy security and shipping continuity. Threats of disruption quickly rises the price of gas, the price of oil. And you also got fertilizer. So it's very important, this strait. So we can't overlook the effect it has on Asia and those companies. And also with the fertilizer, the possible next year effect it would have on starvation and crop failures and different things. So something to keep in mind.
And that's just Tether. It's a relatively small private company, but scale this capability to a system where every major corporation's digital wallet is going to be susceptible to U.S. regulation, backed by U.S. treasuries, governed by U.S. law. And I think you're going to get something that makes the SWIFT banking system look like peanuts.
All right.
Which is also why Jerome Powell said what he said recently about the debt growth rate in the U.S. being unsustainable and ending badly. Why is it going to get worse? It's going to get worse because when countries sell treasuries, treasury yields go up. And when yields go up, the cost of financing America's almost $40 trillion debt goes up as well. Now, the most important bond to look at right now is the 10-year treasury and its yield, which was in the threes when this war started, but it went up in the last 4 weeks. Now, the question is there a point at which bond yields hitting a certain level breaks the economy? Like, how high does this number have to go for things to start to get really bad for everyone in the US economy? And according to the best research I was able to find, the danger zone is somewhere between 4.6 and 4.8%. And once we get there, we could enter into what they call a debt-death spiral. What does that mean? It means the more expensive it is to borrow, the bigger the deficit. Bigger deficits mean more borrowing. More borrowing means higher rates, and it's a never-ending loop. And at almost $40 trillion in debt, that spiral happens really fast, which is also why Jerome Powell said what he said recently about the debt growth rate in the U.S. being unsustainable and ending badly. And it's not necessarily that this 40 trillion number is too high. It's that it's growing faster and faster and faster. And that's bad because that doesn't just burden our generation, but future generations as well.
And I'm gonna throw this in there. When you live in a society that half of the population believe in open borders and a welfare state, that big government, as the Zoran Mandamis of the world, should cover you from the cradle to the grave. That is a type of society where dictatorship rises. And we can see that growing in New York, as far as I'm
That's
concerned.
just Tether, which is also why. Now, if that sounds like some crazy theory, this is literally what the legislation moving through Congress right now requires. It's called the Genius Act. And what it says is, any company that wants to issue a stablecoin, A dollar-pegged digital asset must hold U.S. Treasuries or equivalent safe assets as the backing, dollar for dollar, which means corporations will have to buy real government debt first. And this has already been successfully tested with a company called Tether, the company behind the biggest stablecoin in the world. It holds over $120 billion in U.S. Treasuries right now. Right, that makes them one of the biggest holders of U.S. government debt on the planet. In fact, bigger than some countries even. And Tether was the system's test. Now, imagine this same dynamic, but with the brand recognition of Tesla, the distribution of Apple, the loyalty programs of every airline and retailer we already use. You're not asking people in Argentina or Vietnam to trust some sketchy crypto company they've never heard of. You're asking them to trust the brands they already love and use in their own countries, brought to them by the courtesy of freedom. And in exchange for that trust, they'll get yields, they'll get discounts, they'll get utility, they'll get to protect their savings and purchasing powers from their corrupt dictators and governments, right? Now, behind the scenes, they become creditors to the United States government. That is how you offload trillions and trillions of dollars in debt globally. All you need is CBDCs, legislation, and 8 billion smartphones.
So far, so good.
Now, SWIFT can cut a whole country off from the. Now, SWIFT can cut.
All right, I went through that one.
Now, unfortunately, this system, as convenient and generous as it sounds, is also going to be the most sophisticated financial control grid that will ever be built. And the reason I say that is because it's also already been tested. Tether has already frozen wallets.
We went through that one.
It's happened dozens of times.
I downloaded a couple of these.
It has sanctions.
Some of them may overlap.
Now, that's just Tether. It's a relatively small private company, but scale this capability to a system where every major corporation's digital wallet is going to be susceptible to.
All right, we covered that one.
Which is also why Jerome Powell said what he said.
And we covered that.
That's just Tether, which is also.
All right, so look at something. U.S. net international investment position strength. The U.S. dollar reserve currency status attracts global investment. All right. Weakness, a persistent negative NIIP exposes the economy to risk from foreign investors. We have debt. They purchase the debt. That's vulnerability. Deep U.S. capital markets enable efficient allocations of global capital and foster economic growth. Threat, sudden shifts in NIP may impact currency valuation and financial stability, especially during global uncertainty.
Every outcome sort of leads to inflation and a weaker dollar. Now the question is, of all these three options, which one is the U.S. going to pick? And based on everything we know so far, the option that the U.S. will most likely pick is going to be option number 2. They print into rising oil prices. And the Fed's balance sheet, which is right here, which was $9 trillion at its peak and has been shrinking, starts going back up into a crisis. Now, if that sounds like some crazy theory, this is literally what the legislation moving through Congress right now requires.
All right, so we heard.
It's every outcome sort of leads.
All right. Foreign holdings of U.S. Treasury have surpassed $8 trillion, supporting global liquidity while creating dependency on sustained foreign demand. I'm going to have to double check those figures. The growing role of stable coins backed by U.S. Treasuries. Now, he hasn't said it, but it's more secular. This video he made is more secular. But to me, he has some theological, biblical footing. The Bible tells us what happens. This possibility is the how. All right, so Despite speculation, there is no credible evidence of a coordinated global effort to replace the US dollar as the reserve currency. The dollar's dominance is reinforced by deep financial markets and geopolitical stability. IMF political analysis. The biggest problem, where the argument gets weak, go over some stuff, kind of analyze it from my notes and go over some of the strength and weaknesses of his argument. The biggest problem is causal inflation. The video moves from crisis often increases centralization to this crisis is being used to replace the dollar. Where's the evidence? In other words, without proving the middle step, the source supports that the war with Iran is disrupted, that stable coins are regulated, and that issues hold treasury. They do not prove a coordinated plan to engineer war, stagnation, AI displacement, UBI, and a global wallet system as one integrated strategy. That is the video's thesis, but it is not demonstrated by the evidence presented in the video. The replace the dollar framing is also overstated. Much of the evidence in the transcript actually points to digitizing and extending dollar demand, not replacing the dollar. A dollar-backed stablecoin funded by the Treasury reserves strengthens the dollar settlement reach. It does not by itself replace the dollar with a non-dollar system. On the transcripts, on fact, the mechanism described is closer to a new dollar pumping than dollar replacement. The QE discussion is too neat and partly misleading. The Fed's 2008 era and 2020 era asset purchases were both from forms of large-scale asset purchases affecting broader financial conditions. Research from the New York Fed and the CBPO says QE lowers yields and affects a broad range of asset prices, economic activity. So the line that the 2008 QE did not trigger a spike in asset prices and stayed contained within banks is too simple and not a sound summary of the evidence. That's the Congressional Budget Office. The danger zone is 4.6 to 4.8 on the 10-year. Claim is presented as hard, therefore hard threshold analysis, but the support for that threshold is not shown. Current yields are around 4.29, and the CBO own outlook places 10-year rates in a range that reaches 4.8 during 2026 to 2036 without treating that level as an automatic breaking point. So this looks more like commentary than a demonstrated macro law. The transcript from the video also suggests that abandoning a conflict would quickly cause countries to stop pricing oil in dollars also is too strong. That is a geopolitical inference, not a directly established result. The Suez analogy is a narrative device. It can be useful as a warning, but it is not proof. And if you watch the video, you will see that. That's how they use it. That's how he uses it. All right. Rhetorical methods used in the text. The video uses a classic three-step persuasion structure: real data point, historical pattern, future systems theory. That method is effective because the first step is often true, the second is plausible, and the third step feels earned even when the evidence thins out. In this video, the strongest confirmed pieces are the all choke point. treasury exposure, debt trajectory, stablecoin regulation, and wallet freezing capacity. The least supported pieces are the planned crisis, false flag, UBI control grid, and turn your money off for meat, vaccines, or speech extension. Now, again, um, to me, he didn't set it up stronger enough to give it a stronger foundation. But as a Bible believer, I know this part is coming, even though I didn't hear him use the scripture to bring it out. All right. Also, the video uses quotes aggregation to imply design. The opportunity reset and crisis quotes are real and broad outlines. Klaus Schwab and the WEF material did use reset language during COVID, and BlackRock did publish pre-pandemic work on unprecedented policy coordination. Both those facts show elite policy thinking and opportunistic framing. They do not by themselves establish deliberate orchestration of the latter crisis. So many will take that and run with it, your Alice Jones and the different ones. And lately he's been flip-flopping back and forth on different issues. So now, conflict of interest and incentive layer. The video includes many affiliate links and product pathways, brokerage, portfolio tracker, Bitcoin self-custody hardware wallet, newsletter, and courses. That does not make the micro theses false. It does mean the content has a built-in commercial funnel that benefits when viewers feel urgency, distrust institutions, and want protective tools. In plain terms, fear and monetization are setting in the same frame. That matters in evaluating tone and confidence level. The disclosure itself admits affiliate compensation and warns viewers not to treat the content as investment advice. So consider that. And that I picked up early on, even before I got to that point. So it made me sort of negative toward it, but it got a little better in the middle part that I could respect his vision of what could go wrong. Now, my verdict on the video. As a micro risk essay, it is engaging and partly grounded. As a strict evidentiary case, it is uneven. I would score it this way. Observation layer, moderate to strong. The war with Iran, disruption of the Hormuz, um, straight U.S. external liabilities, foreign treasury holdings, stablecoin reserve rules, and wallet freezing capacity are real. Pattern layer, moderate. Crisis can create openings for more coordination and tighter financial architecture. History gives some support for that pattern. Mechanism layer, partial. Stable coins backed by Treasury can create more demand for government debt and more compliance leverage over user. That mechanism is real. Causal sufficiency layer, I say it's weak. The video does not prove that the war is being used in a coordinated way to replace the dollar. To me, he comes across too strong for that. If he'd have laid it out as possibility, what they could be using this for, but you may see, you know, that a global corporate wallet control grid is the most likely near-term outcome. That remains a thesis and a closed case. The video is strongest when it describes stress in oil, debt, dollar liquidity, and stable coin architecture. It is weakest when it turns those signals into a near certain theory of elite design and total financial control. So that's it. Thanks for joining me. I hope to do another live later today or sometime tonight. God bless and look forward to hearing from you. Drop a line, like, follow, share, all that good stuff.